Hi friends, Tracy Bish here, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia. Welcome to the Global Monthly Video Hop for June. I'm so excited that you're here with us. For this month's theme, the theme is techniques, and I've actually used one that I like to use quite a lot. I feel like I haven't done it for a little while, but it's called ink smooshing. And I was super excited that the sea turtle carried over to the new annual catalogue. I didn't get it from the mini catalogue, so I did purchase it with my pre-order because it was one that I sort of really wanted to have. I'm also using the Unbounded Love stamp set for my sentiment. So I'm using three colours: Shy Shamrock, Summer Splash and Granny Apple Green. So two of those are the new ink colours for the 24 to 26. And then we have Granny Apple Green from our main family of colours. My card base is Granny Apple Green. I've got a piece of basic white for the inside, basic black for our matting, and then I've also got a piece of basic black and Granny Apple Green for the sentiment, and we're using Fluid 100 paper, which you can find that in the annual catalogue. It is our watercolour paper and it is the best to use. It holds a lot of water, gives you a really great finish with your product as well. So the sea turtle stamp set, you can find that on page 83 of the catalogue. Now I'm actually just using one of the plastic bags that, you know, our embossing folders come in, or our die sets. Use what you have. So, you know, if you don't have one of those, and I'm sure we've all got one lying around somewhere, you could use just your cling wrap. So I've just added a little bit of that ink onto my plastic surface, and then I have my water spritzer here. This just has water in it. I'm just going to add a little bit of water, and then we're just going to place it down onto that Fluid 100 paper. Now I haven't added any water to the paper. I've left it completely dry, and look at how good this looks. Now one thing is you're never going to get an exact same for every card. With this technique, you just can't replicate the same for every card. So you're going to get something that looks a little bit different depending on how much water you use, or how much ink you use, maybe how many colours you do. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm also going to just bring in my heat tool and dry out that ink for each stage. So before I move on to the next colour, I am making sure that that's completely dry before we move into the next colour. So I'm not sure whether this is Shy Shamrock or Summer Splash, but they seem to be very close unless you're looking at the two together. And I didn't get a good look before I opened it up. But anyway, we're going to come in, and I'm pretty sure it's Shy Shamrock. It's a little bit darker than the Summer Splash. So we're just going to add all those down. And I like to have those fairly big dots in this technique. But actually it will be Shy Shamrock, because I've sort of gone from darkest to lightest, I believe. Because if we come in with our lightest colour, that means we can add all the colour in to fill up the spaces. You can either leave white space or not. But if you're using your lighter colour, you're not sort of going to overpower all the other colours. And I just think this is so pretty. And it looks a really great background for your sea life. Okay, yep, this is definitely Summer Splash, so I'm just going to add a little bit of that ink down. And I've just cleaned off this bit of plastic each time I've used it. Okay, and then we're just going to lightly touch down. Because this is our last colour, I don't want to put too much colour down. I just want to sort of place it in the areas where it's a little bit too white, where, you know, the Fluid 100 paper hasn't had a lot of ink down. So you can sort of pop down as much or as little as you like. But I really love how this effect looks. And like I said, it can look different for every single card, and you'll see that over my blog. My sample card, which is the one on the left there that's completely done, it's a lot lighter than how I've done my second card, which is the one I'm creating right now. It's got a lot more ink down, and it's not quite as light. But I really like how both of them have turned out. So now that we have the final piece done, I'm just going to make sure that that's all nice and dry. Now there's a couple of different ways you could add your sea creatures, the turtles and the starfish. I have actually gone with just using Memento Tuxedo black ink. But what would look really great is if you heat embossed in black embossing powder. I think that would really pop off the page so brilliantly. But you can do whatever you choose. While we have the heat tool out and it's still quite warm, I'm just going to use my basic black piece here. We're going to stamp the sentiment "Feel Better Soon," because I think, you know, it's always nice to be able to have something like that in your stash to give to a friend or family member if they're not feeling quite well. Pick their spirits up with a nice beautiful card. So I'm just going to stamp that with the Versamark ink, which is a nice clear sticky ink, and it's going to hold our embossing powder down really well. I'm using the white embossing powder. Now, stamping up, I have actually just brought out new embossing powders. They're Wow embossing powders. They weren't available for my last order. I'm not sure whether they're available yet, but it'll be interesting to see how different the embossing powders will work. I love heat embossing. So if you like, this is the second technique in this card for our Global Monthly Video Hop theme. Okay, so once we have that nice and melted, we're just going to cut that down to a nice little sentiment piece. I'm also going to add a little bit of Granny Apple Green underneath it, and we can really quickly pop this card together. Now, this is a video hop, so you can head into the description of this video, go over and see what everyone else is creating. We've got demonstrators from around the world that join in each month, and I will tell you, you will be amazed with all the great techniques that everyone will be sharing with you this month. So please go on over, watch their video, give them a little love, give them a thumbs up, leave them a comment, and if you haven't hit subscribe and you enjoy the video, please do that as well, because I know they will really appreciate it. Now, if you are in need of any of the supplies that I've used on today's card, you can certainly purchase them in the online store. There is a link to my online store in the description of this video. I have really wonderful gifts that I give out to my customers each month who use the host code. You'll receive a handmade card for the month, as well as a Simple Sweet Stampers tutorial bundle. If you spend over $65 in product before shipping, I'll also pop in the month's tutorial bundle, which is usually got between 40 and 60 wonderful tutorials with all you need to help you create those projects. So for the inside of the card, I have stamped the turtle in Summer Splash, and then the little starfish in Granny Apple Green. Just, you know, the Granny Apple Green card base is just a little bit too dark to be able to write on, so we've popped in a little piece of basic white. Now, all the measurements you'll be able to find over my blog, and you can see that linked in the description of this video. So if you would like to see more information on this card, please pop on over to my blog. It has everything there that you need. And here we are using the Memento Tuxedo black ink, which is a beautiful black ink. Because my piece that I've just created is a little bit darker, my turtles probably don't stand out quite so much as the lighter shade. But let me know, which one do you like? Do you like the sample, or the card that we're making right now? Do you like, you know, the lightness of color or the brightness of color? I don't know, I'm sort of pretty torn. I really like both of them. But I can say that, can't I? I created both. Alright, so yeah, once we've popped this together, this is watercolor paper, so you want to make sure that you're using a really good adhesive for this. I'm going to be adhering that down to the basic black piece, and for that I really want to use tear and tape. But for the inside of the card, we're just going to use some liquid glue. We've just stamped on that piece of white card, basic white cardstock, so it's going to be able to be glued inside really easily. But for my matting, I like using the tear and tape just because it holds down, because you've added water to that paper as well as heat with the heat tool. So although it's still very flat, and I love that our watercolor paper is such high quality, if you do have a little bit of bowing or give in that paper, if you just run the heat embossing around the back side of it, that will help to straighten it out a little bit as well. So I'm so excited to see what everyone's creating using techniques as the theme this month. I know that there's going to be some really great projects out there. My friends in the Global Monthly Hop always do an amazing job, so please go over and check out what everyone else is creating. Of course, I would love it if you gave me a thumbs up and left me a comment. And yeah, if you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do that as well, because I would absolutely love that. So we've got a nice little bit of a border. Unfortunately, I need to change my blades on my trimmer, but it burrs it a little bit. I'm a bit of a tight person, so I'm gonna just let those blades go a little bit longer before I change them out. I don't know. The sandbox, the sanding tool works really well, so I tend not to replace my blades straight away because I can just use my sanding block. Okay, so here's the tear and tape. I'm going to adhere that down. So I've actually adhered it both to the basic black as well as to my card base. So we've got a nice little border up the top and the bottom. And then we're going to add that little piece of Granny Apple Green to the sentiment piece. And with the basic black, I'm going to just do a banner cut on the ends. So I just love these three colours together. I think this is a great colour scheme. So if you're after a colour scheme for a card, Shy Shamrock, Summer Splash and Granny Apple Green. So pretty with the greens. Blue's my favourite, but I will say Granny Apple Green is my favourite green of all time. And Summer Splash is my favourite in colour. So yeah, but I love these colours together, so pretty. And we're going to pop this up with some dimensionals as well. We're going to have that sentiment popped up. You could also add some embellishments if you would like. I've left it very plain just because I think, you know, that ink smooshing technique is so pretty. I didn't want to cover any of that up, and I wanted it to be focused on that as well. So I really hope that you've enjoyed today's project. Don't forget, all the information is over on the blog. You can purchase any of the supplies over in my online store. And I would love to spoil you as a customer. Yeah, and don't forget, check out everyone else's creations for the technique this month's theme. Alright everyone, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for coming to the end of this video. I really do appreciate that. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll see you all very soon here again. Alright, bye-bye.